Hi, welcome to your weekly reading. This week I'm going to talk about astrology in this video, and I'll do another video for the oracle card reading. So tomorrow on October 17th, the moon trines Venus. So the moon is in Aries and Venus in Sagittarius. So this kind of helps us to figure out what we need emotionally from our relationships, and also how to feel a sense of independence and maybe even a sense of passion in our relationships. And then the moon is also conjuncting Uranus on that same day. So this really emphasizes, what our needs for independence and freedom are emotionally, and also for taking that action, that independent action, and what we can do to really move ourselves forward in our passions. And then Venus is also trining Uranus, of course. So this kind of also brings maybe some unexpected things to a relationship, or maybe even a sense of independence in our relationships, or even just having more of an otherworldly kind of conversation in our relationships, or talking about things like maybe UFOs or unexpected, weird, out of this world type things. And then Uranus also squares Pluto exactly on that same day, so that's emphasizing the changes in the world. And of course, we know that the government shutdown is just ending, so this is kind of bringing that, maybe those changes back on track in a way. And and also could bring a little bit of, since it's kind of interacting with all those relationship planets, it's kind of emphasizing like what needs to change in relationships, and also what could be worked through. Like sometimes there could be like a little bit of a power struggle that occurs because of it, but ultimately it'll be for the highest good of all, and for your ultimate feeling of freedom and independence within a relationship. So and then on October 18th, there's a full moon partial lunar eclipse, a penumbral lunar eclipse that happens. So, the full moon, the moon is, taking us one way towards Aries, towards the self, towards independence, towards, like, especially with Uranus involved, kind of revolution, and also kind of like a pioneering force. While Libra is all about relationships, love, the other person, always taking the other into account when it comes to decision making it a little bit more indecisive than Aries, which Aries is somewhat more impulsive. So, it's kind of balancing, your own sense of self, and also taking into account the other person. And then a partial lunar eclipse kind of brings, maybe a little bit of the karma into perspective. It's a little less so with the than with the full eclipse, because it's not in the exact signs of the nodes. So it's in the sign next to the nodes, which are in Taurus and Scorpio. So a little bit of those issues could come up about like values and money and other people's money, and also intimacy. But a little less so, of course, since it's about the self and the relationships and, partnerships. So it's kind of more focused on that, but it could have a little bit of an effect, I suppose. And then on the next day, October 19th, the moon sextiles Neptune. So this is a really great, thing for creativity, especially channeling your emotions into something creative, like especially poetry or writing music, that kind of thing. And the moon would be in Taurus, so it's very sensual, very earthy, You may even enjoy like a massage or even just, just sensual things like food or stuff like that. And it's also kind of connecting the earthy elements with your intuition and the emotions kind of also as well. So it's kind of a good time for just enjoying that kind of thing, I guess. And then Mars opposite Neptune, Mars in Virgo opposite Neptune in Pisces. Really, you're trying to find a balance between, taking practical action and daydreaming and having, big dreams and intuitions and all these wonderful idealisms. So you're kind of trying to, you're finding the balance between those things. And you could even sort of channel some of your dreams into reality, or, kind of adding just a little bit more of a, maybe even practicalism to your dreams, and sort of just kind of trying to find a good balance. So, it's a good day for maybe taking some action, but also making sure to have a little bit of dream time as well. And then Venus semi-sextile Saturn kind of brings that, the relationship element, of course, with Saturn, responsibilities and practicalities, and sometimes it's, a little heavier and more of a feeling like, you should do something, or, you feel like you have to do something. So, it's really a day for putting, our ideals into practical action on the 19th. All right, and then on the 21st, Mercury goes retrograde. So, you know how retrogrades are, right? Mercury going retrograde can make things like communication blunders could happen. Sometimes electronics go crazy. Sometimes, things like erase. So make sure to save things, keep things going on. I don't know. Make sure to listen carefully. And it's actually more of a time for reflection and, editing, anything re-looking at stuff. Anything that has already been looked at before, you can go over that, redo, whatever. With a in front of it, you're okay on a retrograde. But anything, don't try to write anything new or talk about anything new, or it's not always the best time to have a conversation you haven't had before, but you can go over old things in conversation. So, yeah. And then on the 22nd, the moon sextiles Uranus. And, yeah, so this kind of brings our emotions into, it could be a little bit surprising sometimes, but it also could be kind of somewhat more productive and more of a, interesting emotions, interesting situations that could be, somewhat shocking to our emotions too. And the moon would be in Gemini for that. So there's a kind of a hint of, intelligence going on. Intelligence in, we could look at our emotions from an objective point of view and kind of be able to maybe express that a little bit easier, but it could also come across as a little unexpected, I guess. So, yeah. And then the moon in conjunct Saturn. So those same emotions could kind of keep us from getting to our responsibilities in our more practical area of life. But, sometimes it's necessary to have those days where you do deal with your emotions rather than fully focused. I mean, maybe you'll have to get some of your responsibilities done, of course, but, don't be too hard on yourself if you kind of get off track a little bit on that day, October 22nd, that is. Okay, so that's the astrology for the week, and I'll be back very soon with your oracle card reading. Thanks for watching and liking and subscribing and commenting. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon.